Hello, lovely people of the internet. You are listening to Just a Chat. I'm Brian from NintendoEverything.com, and Dan has joined me to discuss the latest Nintendo Direct.
I'm going beyond the Call of Duty. I'm going beyond third time as a charm.
That is a great start right there. But yeah, both of us are here to talk about the latest Nintendo Direct, which happened a couple of days ago, and there's quite a bit to talk about.
Well, yeah, it was a better Nintendo Direct than I was actually expecting it to be.
Me too. I wasn't expecting a whole lot in terms of game announcements, at least in terms of brand new game announcements, because we're so close to E3, so I didn't think we were going to be seeing anything like Star Fox or just anything big, but we got a lot of announcements on pre-existing things.
Hey, that's fine. I mean, we don't need it, especially this time. We just need to hear about the stuff that's already out there, so...
Right. And one of the big things that we did hear about was Smash Brothers, and there's a lot of news on that front.
Oh, yeah. You could definitely say that.
So we learned about Mewtwo, obviously. We got a trailer for that, and we know he's coming later this month. And we also know that Lucas is on the way.
Yes, Lucas is coming in June, of all things, and that is pretty soon.
Yep, it was a pretty quick turnaround between the announcement and then him releasing, and we're not going to have to wait that long.
No, it is very interesting in that regard, because we kind of knew Mewtwo was coming for a while, but we weren't really sure what the deal with him was. And as months progressed, I was slowly thinking there's something more going on than Mewtwo.
Mm-hmm.
And of course we first got the Mewtwo trailer, which looked awesome, by the way. Got a lot of good look at his various moves and his customizable movesets. But after that, we got a look at some new costumes for your Miis.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, which I'm not necessarily against.
Yeah.
Like, I would definitely pick up the Link one and Mega Man X and Proto Man, but for the rest, I'm not really sure about it, really. But yeah, then after that just came Lucas out of nowhere. And I know for a fact that I have a lot of friends who are really diehard Smash fans. They were over the moon when they saw this announcement. They just went really mental and insane, because this was one of the better characters in Brawl. Like, if one of the original characters to come back in Brawl, that's the one they really wanted, and they didn't get it in the beginning. So I think it's really great of Sakurai that he listened to the fans in that regard. But that's not really what he's only doing for the fans, though.
Yep, we know that there's a character ballot going around, and basically fans can go to the Smash Brothers website and say who they want to see in the game, and all the results are going to be looked at, and basically whatever people say, we may see characters based on what people say end up in the game as DLC.
So here's the question: have you already sent in your fighter?
I haven't. I don't know. I don't know who I would go with. I feel like
I already sent my in, and this is the exclusive you get here on Just a Chat. I sent in Inkling from Splatoon.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's definitely a good one. I'd be okay with that.
Because of all the character designs I've seen the last year, that one is still the most amazing to me.
Yeah.
And even if Splatoon turns out really disappointing, which I don't think it will, I still believe that those characters are one of the most best characters I've seen in a long time in a video game.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about who I would even want in the game. I think my brain has just been elsewhere since the Nintendo Direct, so I haven't
we're all busy with news and that other good stuff, so we haven't really got time to think about it. I only did it just now, like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Like the fans will immediately grab that chance and do it, but we just have to do other things and then think about it.
Alright, maybe I'll think about it this weekend a bit more.
Fair enough.
But question for you. Are you surprised even a little bit that we're getting all this DLC?
No. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm not. Because, like I said, when Mewtwo was taking that long, and honestly, Mewtwo, to develop a character, it does take a long time.
Right.
But when they showed it back in October, they already had they already had a character model ready for 3DS and Wii U. So they were that far in the development stage. So what it comes down to is looking at his movesets, developing those movesets, and make sure that the balance is right.
Yep.
So that will make you think that there was more going on, because it doesn't take that too long. It does take some time, but not too long, like to the point of, say, the point right now. So they had time to think about another character. So I was not surprised to see Lucas, but what I am surprised about is the turnaround of Lucas. Because it's basically roughly 2 months from now when Lucas comes out.
Yeah, and I'm like slightly amazed, not entirely surprised, but just like slightly amazed that we're going to be getting DLC for what seems like a fairly long time. And I'm just thinking about Sakurai with all of his physical problems with like his hand and everything. I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
like, how long is he going to keep working on the game?
But honestly, like, do we need support like this? Because I don't think that we will get that many marquee titles. Like, there will be a couple of them, definitely. But throughout 2015, you need support for titles like these, and like what we'll talk about later with Mario Kart, because you need to have games with long tails now, or else they will not stick in people's minds.
Yeah, and honestly, I do love the idea. Like, it keeps you engaged, like, and it keeps you wanting to come back for more, and you know, just keeps you bringing yourself back to the game, which is something that you can't say about all titles.
No, definitely about other platforms. They immediately just dump the DLC on you and hope that it sticks.
Yep.
Well, here you get the feeling that they're trying to give you actual value for your money. And two crazy good examples of that is Fire Emblem Awakening and Hyrule Warriors, where they just released DLC over a long period of time after the fact.
Yeah.
And they did that in a really great and brilliant way. And the storylines in the Fire Emblem stuff was amazing, and the additional characters they put in Hyrule Warriors were just awesome to play as. So I honestly think that they give this stuff a ton of thought, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I'm just curious if we will see other DLC like stages.
I also honestly think that DLC and Amiibo are just the two big things for Nintendo now to expand their games with at this rate.
That's not entirely a bad thing, I guess.
No, it's not entirely a bad thing. For they went a little Amiibo crazy in this direct.
Yeah. If you want, we can move on to the Amiibo stuff, because there was a lot of news on that front.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's just throw out one random piece of Amiibo news. We know that Yoshi is getting a yarn Amiibo.
Well, multiple yarn Amiibos.
Yes, multiple colors.
Yeah, 3 of them.
I honestly really want this badly. It looks so adorable.
And the elephant in the room, and that's my bigger problem currently with Yoshi's Woolly World, is that America is getting it way later than Europe.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to like stray too far from this, but I was thinking about this, and someone on the site actually brought this up. I think it was something like Sonic Fan. I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name, but we kind of had this very short interaction about how there seems like there's going to be this kind of a lull between like May and maybe like September-ish or something. Yeah, like September when Mario Maker comes out.
Yeah.
Because I don't really know what else is, if there is anything else coming out between that period.
But it's interesting that basically North America is not getting nothing to really fill that gap.
Yeah. And I don't really understand why the game is coming so later.
Yeah, it could be because of the spread of physical goods, because these are Amiibo, and you know how North America is with Amiibo at this rate.
True. That's true.
And they are not really good in bringing physical goods over.
Yeah.
Like not in the slightest. So in that regard, I think because it's an essential feature of the game this time around, like playing with in a one-player mode with additional Yoshi, that is actually sort of a big deal. So not having that feature there at launch does make it a bit dodgy for Nintendo of America, so I honestly think that is the reason why.
That would make sense. Even the Amiibo, like now, with pre-orders just going up like today and yesterday, it's already been crazy for the new Smash Brothers Wave and the Splatoon stuff.
Yeah, there's also a lot of like weird date correlation going on between America and Europe again, because for the first time in a while, we're getting all the Amiibo way earlier than North America, and I'm not sure why that is, because the pre-orders for Americans are already out there. They already have your money, and we're getting, I think, like Lucina Robin and stuff. We're getting that at the end of this month, I think.
Yeah, and we're not getting anything until the end of May.
Yeah, and we're getting the out of May the 2 Pokemon Amiibo. So it's really weird how they're handling this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty weird as well. Very strange.
Yeah, and next to that, well, we should talk about the little bit of Yoshi's Woolly World more, I guess, because we're moving on a tangent. Yoshi's Woolly World looks really fun.
It does. It was nice to see it again.
It looked really challenging too, actually. From the footage we saw, well, Wario Land Shake It was sort of a challenging game. Kirby's Epic Yarn, not so much. And I feel that they are marrying the difficulty of Shake It with the adorableness of Epic Yarn.
That's a pretty good comparison, I'd say.
Yeah. They are introducing an easier mode for those people who are getting stuck with that game. But,
yeah, that's mellow mode.
Yeah, mellow mode, where you can just fly around as Winged Yoshi. But I do think that this is the best Yoshi game we had in a while, at least in terms of how we are currently looking at it. Because Yoshi's Island, I'm one of those few people who really like that game, though that game was inherently flawed. I will not say that it wasn't, because it was. Beyond that, like, Yoshi's Island DS didn't really do it for me. I just played it again on Virtual Console, and I just kind of got irritated with that game. But this seems like the Yoshi game I kind of want.
Yeah, same here. And I loved Kirby's Epic Yarn, so I'm very much looking forward to this.
I liked all the games that Good Feel has made up till this point.
Yeah.
Particularly Shake It is my favorite. Shake It is my absolute favorite of all of them. But Epic Yarn is also like in that ballpark.
You know, another big game that Nintendo talked about, and I really wanted to talk about this, is Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. So we know once and for all that it's alive, even though Intelligent Systems said at last year's E3 that it was alive, but now we finally saw it for the first time. Here's
the thing. A couple of times ago, I said I honestly believe it's still alive, and many people said to me, "What are you talking about? It's not alive." I mean, you haven't seen that game in ages. Of course it's not alive. And now in 2015, I can honestly tell them, no, it is alive now. But it's very different than I envisioned it would be.
I think you're not alone in that. This is probably one of the bigger topics that has come out of the Direct, because either people are like really happy, not happy, but really upset about the direction that it's heading, or they're skeptical. So
I am actually really happy with the direction.
I'm with the same line of thinking, actually.
As much as I like Shin Megami Tensei, it is an interesting direction to take it in, and it would fit more by the Fire Emblem mold. This seems more like Persona meets Fire Emblem.
Yeah, that's the same vibe I'm getting, and I don't mind that at all.
And yeah, that's what I said at Twitter. It's kind of like Persona meets Fire Emblem, and I don't care. I'm totally fine with that. The people who aren't fine with that is the Shin Megami Tensei fan base.
Exactly.
And I saw that on their official Reddit, because there is a Shin Megami Tensei Reddit, and they were furious. They were out of their minds.
Oh God.
And no one of them really backed it up with facts or opinionated opinions. They're just saying it kind of sucks. And to say that, I would say no, it doesn't really suck. It looks really good. And it looks amazing for a Wii U game. I understand that you're upset, and that's not cool. And I do think that maybe Atlas or Nintendo could explain it a little bit better. But honestly, this is the sort of game I actually sort of want at this moment on the Wii U.
Yeah, I'm like thinking the same exact things as you. So it's, funny that you're basically echoing my thoughts, but, like I feel it's too early to even like throw this game out and say, oh, it's not going to be any good because we've seen one trailer of it?
Because and the game looks super colorful. So if they're taking a bit more crows from Persona, all the good for it, because I want to have more colorful games on my Nintendo system.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm in the minority, but I'm actually more interested in this now compared to when they originally announced it.
I was interested in it since an initial announcement, but I honestly feel that I'm happier with the direction that they're taking now.
Yeah, I just hope like fans who aren't too happy with it take a more cautious approach and say, oh, we've only seen one trailer and maybe it'll be good, stuff like that. I just don't know if it's a good idea to dismiss it completely right now.
It's not necessarily a great idea to just say and go up in arms and say, no, you know what, this sucks. It's like, it doesn't really help anyone. I mean, you can say all if you want, but at the same time, we have not seen much beyond it. I know that it's coming later this year in Japan. We don't know about Europe or North America, but I will wait until the Japanese release to serve or have a full judgment on it.
Yeah, we'll see. And I'm sure they're going to show it again at E3, so hopefully we'll hear about it more then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, so another game for Wii U that I want to briefly touch on is Fatal Frame.
We know
that
we're kind of skipping all over Splatoon. I know. Because Splatoon came way earlier.
Yeah, I know. We'll get to it.
I honestly think that we should talk about Splatoon first because they had Amiibo as well.
Alright, we could just talk about Splatoon now.
Yeah. Then. So they showed off Battle Dojo.
Yep.
Which looks fun. Not so much to say about that, but it looks fun.
It's local one-on-one battle, so that's good. We know about local multiplayer.
Yeah. And the Amiibo look amazing too, like the Squid and the two main characters, the boy and the girl.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they unlock missions in the game.
Yeah, that sounded interesting.
Yeah. And if you complete those missions, you unlock costumes as well, so that it looks really fun to toy around with.
I really did not want to get involved with these Amiibo, and even after seeing them and liking them, I'm like, I can't do this, because I plan on getting every one of the Smash Brothers Amiibo if I can, and just, that's like 50 Amiibo already, and I'm just telling myself, how many more of these can I get? But of course, today, when they came up on Best Buy, I pre-ordered them. I can't resist.
Yeah, the problem is, here locally, I can't, pre-order them until a month before they come out. So it will be a little while longer before I can do that. But hey, I'm looking forward to it. What did else they show? They showed some of the multiplayer. They showed a little bit of the single-player campaign. Honestly, I'm just to the point I just want to have it in my hands at this rate.
Yeah, I feel like we have enough information about it, and it's looking good, and now it's time to play it.
Yeah, I honestly feel with the information they've been given, I don't think there will be a Nintendo Direct dedicated to Splatoon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I honestly feel that they have said enough.
Yeah. I still can't believe it's 2 months away, because they did confirm that it's coming out on May 29th.
Yeah, May 29th for Europe and North America. I'm not sure about Japan, but we're getting it all on the same day.
Yeah. Kind of stinks that it's the end of May, which everyone predicted and pretty much figured.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's talk about the Fatal Frame game for just a second, because that, I thought, was kind of big news. I don't know how many people, at least in North America, were banking on it coming here.
I banked on it for Europe, but I wasn't sure about North America, because you didn't get the Fatal Frame 2 remake or Project Zero 2, as it is known here.
That's exactly why I was kind of skeptical about it happening, but now we know that it's coming to both North America and Europe later this year.
Yeah. I already played the game in Japanese a while back, and that game is really great. I honestly think it's one of the better Fatal Frame games. Really scary, absolutely terrifying at moments. So if you're not into that kind of game, be a bit worried about that one.
It's kind of a good thing to have, though, in terms of, expanding the Wii U's horizons and just bringing out more kinds of genres.
Yeah, it's also interesting if they will only offer Japanese voices or also an English dub.
That's an interesting thing to think about.
Because with Project Zero 2, there was already an existing English dub because it was from Project Zero 2.
Yeah.
With this one, I'm not really sure because I could see them taking only the Japanese route to save sort of costs and keep this title sort of niche. But you never know.
Yep. All right, we can move on to 3DS news a little bit now, and why don't we talk about the new Animal Crossing game, which no one was expecting to be on 3DS.
Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer.
Yeah. What do you think about this one?
It's weird. I really love Animal Crossing, and I was always a fan of making house aspect, but this kind of reeks a bit more of work to me, and I'm not sure if I will necessarily like it, but I would love to give it a go.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about this, and I think I don't want to speak for all Animal Crossing fans or anything like that, but I feel like many of them would have rather seen a proper Wii U game than this.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that is happening, to be honest with you. We might still see it, you never know. But I'm not sure what the benefit would be of having it on Wii U. But I'm going to give this a try. This will be out in Japan in summer. So I will probably just buy it then and try to get much of those cards as I can. Because I'm still an Animal Crossing fan. I still want to experience as much of the franchise as I possibly can.
Right.
But it's... I'm not really sure about this one. It's a really difficult one to predict.
Yeah. And you did mention those cards. This is the first time Nintendo's going to be trying out Amiibo cards.
Yes, yeah.
So that's kind of big.
Yeah, they're gonna release the adapter for normal 3DSs with it in autumn for the West. Which again, I'm not really sure about if that's a good idea, because I honestly think that they should release that adapter sooner.
Yeah.
Because you're basically forcing your audience to buy the new handheld, and not all of them will have that money exactly at this moment.
That's probably what they want, though. They probably want people to upgrade.
Yeah, the only reason I think they do it with Animal Crossing because Animal Crossing has a really dedicated fan base, and even beyond the people who would buy a new 3DS for it.
Yeah.
So again, I kind of wish that they would have done it like a while back when Smash Bros. 3DS Amiibo update came out, but that's on them.
Yeah. But another fan base, which is pretty large, is Fire Emblem, and we got news on the 3DS Fire Emblem.
Is it though? The only reason that Fire Emblem Awakening grew up is word by mouth, and that is kind of the game that blew up the Fire Emblem series again.
Kind of, yeah.
There's a dedicated fan base, and I love that dedicated fan base to death. I talk to them all the freaking time. But it wasn't that small, it wasn't that large before Awakening came out. It kind of grew again with Awakening.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten bigger now.
Yeah, which I'm certainly happy about. But it's a bunch of factors that made that game to what it is. It's a really great game. But it's sort of the sequel to Awakening, but it's a new story, so it's really different in that regard. But that game, I'm really looking forward to that game. I can't absolutely wait for it. I'm currently trying, and this is a big if, to get the special edition from Japan.
Fire Emblem if.
Yeah, Fire Emblem with the two games, the third game... There's apparently a third game DLC, I'm not sure how that works. And the art book and all that extra stuff with, because I absolutely adore those games from a long time ago already. And I just want to see how they handle the choices in those two separate games, because that's going to be the most interesting thing to me. And one important thing to note about the Japanese versions of those games is that they are a black box, which means that they're also mature rated.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So there's gonna be some interesting content in those games to be sure.
Yeah, just the one downer is that it's not coming in overseas until 2016.
Yeah, that's the big bummer. But honestly, I can see why now with them even releasing 2 games in Japan. I'm not sure how they're gonna do that in North America because
That's a big question.
because there is an option when you buy one of the games to get the other one as DLC later if you complete it. I'm not going to wait that long. I'm just going to buy them both because whatever. But yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to handle that. Maybe they will just put them both out there on store shelves. Maybe they will just make 2 separate eShop entries and just release one packaged good game. I'm not really sure about it, really.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
I guess we shall see. Alright, so let's just quickly, very briefly, talk about Pokemon Rumble World. I don't know if this is what people were expecting when the Australian ratings board leaked this, but it's a free-to-play game for 3DS.
It's basically Pokemon Rumble Blast 2.0.
Yeah, and now it's free-to-play.
Yeah.
So I don't really know if many people are going to be loving that, but we'll see.
Hey, at least it's not only arena battles.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that destroyed sort of the Wii U game.
Yep.
And I kind of want to play it. It's free to play, so why not?
Yeah. Might as well give it a shot.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with trying it because again, it's free to play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't hope they push the free to play system too far. That's my only worry at this rate.
Yeah, it is interesting to see this come out so soon after the last Pokemon game for the 3DS, which I'm forgetting the name of right now.
Pokemon Shuffle.
There we go.
I didn't really like Pokemon Shuffle. I played for the levels and then kind of stopped.
I thought it was okay.
I never paid attention to the check-in DLC.
Mm-hmm.
But this seems more interesting to me because I like a good roller, and I really liked the ones on 3DS and on WiiWare. So this seems like more up my alley. Yep. So I will definitely give it a shot.
It comes out next week.
Yeah, it does come out next week.
Very quick from being announced to coming out.
Yeah, it's kind of out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, and that was kind of the same thing with the StreetPass Mi Plaza games, which they announced.
Yeah, and they're out in Japan. I already have downloaded those to my system.
Mm-hmm. And they announced that VIP program.
Well, the StreetPass Mi Plaza Premium.
Yeah, Premium.
And Premium basically adds the option to set your own music in the StreetPass main plaza. You can remove all the information from the gate, so you can just do the passes and be done with it. There's a new option where you collect people's birthdays. So have fun collecting February 29th suckers. And the VIP room, which I'm not sure what the VIP room does. It just saves your most important Miis, I guess.
Yeah.
So I just added Krista from Nintendo Minute to it, which I StreetPassed at E3. I put in all my colleagues, a few of my friends, and that's it, really. I haven't really toyed around with it. And the other 2 games, they are interesting. So with Battleground C, it's basically a brawler with items, and those items you get from the Miis you meet. And those could be really outrageous stuff, but they could also be really household items. Because basically, the concept is that the town is just obsessed with household items. Just go to the store to buy them. Everybody there has a hobby. So, and because they have that hobby, they will give you their items that they just picked up randomly and just give you, well, here you go, you needed more than me, bye, which is sort of funny. And then the other one is a fishing game, which is kind of challenging. You heard me playing it before we started recording, and it is really, really freaking tough, but it's really fun to toy around with. You basically get bait from the Miis you meet, and next to that, you can use those Miis to, when you are trying to catch a big fish, to have more grip on your rod. Mm-hmm. So it's both of them are really fun, actually. Really fun little games.
That's good. Both come out, I think it's April 16th in North America.
Also Europe. Both of those come out on the April 16th.
Yep. All right, let's quickly talk about two more games, just very briefly. We now know that the Attack on Titan 3DS game is coming over, and we also heard that Mario Maker launches in September.
Yeah, that's all I had to say about those. So let's move on to the Mario Kart 8 DLC.
Yeah, that's the next big one, I would say, and probably the last big one. So we got a lot of news on that front. We saw the Animal Crossing DLC in motion for the first time.
Yeah.
We know about Mii racing suits, and we know that a 200cc difficulty / racing class is on the way, which is probably the most surprising news out of it all.
Yeah, so let's break this down, like all of them. So the Mii suits look awesome. Like Sonic, Mega Man, Rosalina, they all look great. I can just not wait to unlock them later this month, because the DLC is now coming earlier than expected, which is fantastic. Now coming April 21st, so this month is actually becoming sort of busy now, which I like.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we have a whole month of stuff ahead, which is great. Leading up to the release of Puzzle and Dragons, so from that to the beginning of May, we have constantly a game every single week, which is nice. Next to that is the Animal Crossing DLC. We saw the track, and the interesting thing is they have this amazing remix of the main theme of New Leaf, and it changes seasons every time you play.
That was the very cool part, I think.
It looked amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning. Like, I love the visual touches they do in every season. Like, yet in winter, all of the snow and the little houses, and then in the summer, just leaves all just spreading around like cherry blossoms. It looked great. It looked absolutely fun to play around in.
And it's almost like a tease for Animal Crossing fans who are looking forward to a new game on Wii U in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the final part was, again, 200cc, which looks insanely fast.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is.
There's a video that Nintendo UK put up on their YouTube channel of Dove and Shoals. And that just looks insane. Like the amount of air you get, because when you're going out of the water, you have this right turn and then this ramp that you go off into the final area. And then what the player in that video did, he just flew with the paraglider just through the finish. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing to look at.
Yeah, I still can't believe we're actually getting this. Like, I don't think anyone would have predicted that 200cc would be in.
I didn't expect that either. For there is some smaller stuff that we still missed, so I still kind of want to touch upon that, the fact that we're finally getting DS and Nintendo 64 Virtual Console.
Yeah, how did I not even bring this up? Because I was one of the people who was like not complaining, but like mentioning on Twitter a couple of weeks ago or so that we still haven't gotten.
I've been complaining about DS games since like Brain Training came out in Europe and Japan. I was like, so you aren't going to do something with this, right? You sure they're going to do something with this? No?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And then 2 years later, it's like, surprise, guys!
Yeah, this like really came out of nowhere, because even like comparing DS to N64, we were waiting for N64 games even longer.
Yeah. So
it's just crazy that now we're finally starting to see games for both Nintendo 64 and DS out on the eShop.
It's interesting that Japan, Europe, and North America each got different games.
Yeah, North America only got 2.
Yeah, like North America got Yoshi's Island DS for DS, and for N64 they got Super Mario 64?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I think Japan got also Super Mario 64, and then the DS games were New Super Mario Brothers and Big Brain Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got New Super Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64, Mario Kart DS, and Mario Kart Touched.
You stink. We want those.
And there's a special offer in Europe, and I want to encourage, like, if people from Europe listening to this, make sure you make use of that deal, because it only lasts for a week and a half at this rate. Where you can get, if you buy 3 of the games, you get the 4th one for free.
Yeah, you guys are lucky.
And all of those games are great. Like Mario Kart DS, Wario Touch, Donkey Kong 64, Super Mario 64, they're all great, fantastic games.
Yeah.
So getting the 4 for free sounds like a really sweet deal to me.
We're not getting WarioWare Touch until April 9th and Donkey Kong 64 until April 16th, so...
That's really weird, though.
Yeah.
Because basically, I do think that Donkey Kong 64 is the American version we got.
Really?
Yeah.
Nintendo of America does weird things.
Yeah, they do. There's also Amiibo Tap.
Yeah. I guess it's okay. Basically just a way for Nintendo to promote the Virtual Console.
Well, it's an interesting way to promote a Virtual Console. So every Amiibo gets a game assigned to it, like of the selection of Virtual Console games on the NES or the Super Nintendo side of things. And then you have 9 scenes to switch between, which you can play for 3 minutes each. Which seems like a really interesting thing to me. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I do think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I just don't know how much I'll actually use it.
Yeah. They did talk about some eShop games both in Europe and North America. I kind of want to touch upon those as we kind of wrap this up.
All right.
So Europe got talk about Affordable Space Adventures, which is coming out next week.
Yeah, very close.
I don't know if one of you guys at Nintendo Everything played it.
We do have someone playing it. I think he finished it, and I think we're going to have a review up soon. I don't know when, but soon.
Yeah, that game is fantastic. There are some problems, like their loading times are kind of frequent, but the small puzzle-based levels in that game are absolutely great. It uses the gamepad in a fantastic way.
Yeah, I've had my eye on it for a long time, so very happy that it's finally coming out.
Yeah. Another thing they announced in the European Direct, and this also sort of applies to North America, is that Swords and Soldiers 2 is coming on May 21st.
Yep.
And I played that this weekend at a Dutch Comic-Con, which is the new Dutch version of Comic-Con. Who knew? And basically they had a stand there with Swords and Soldiers 2, and I played the new Persian class for 1.5 hours. And I played in Skirmish, where they had 8 different local multiplayer maps on offer, which all do different things, and the Persian class really changed up the game. That game is one of the most titles I anticipate on the Wii U eShop this year, because I love the original as much. I still played a lot on Wii U locally with friends, and that new game just looks amazing. Like, in every single way, they've really fine-tuned the art and everything they wanted to put in that game.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of good indie stuff coming up. You know, this Adventures of Pip, I think, is coming out in May.
Adventures of Pip was one of the games mentioned in the North American Direct, yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Mutant Mud Super Challenge, that's coming in June.
That was the first footage ever shown of that game in the Nintendo Direct, and I must say, I am more interested in the game than I was initially.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, the fact that you're getting both versions for one price and a loyalty discount for already owning the original Mutant Mudds is amazing to me.
Yeah, that was very good to hear. So shout out to Jules for getting that done.
No, Jules is a lovely man. I've met him a few years ago at E3. He is one of the best people I've met in this industry. He works really hard in this game. It's still unfortunate that we don't get his games in Europe for a long time now. Because honestly, I think that more people should play them.
Yeah.
And Mutant Mudds is one of the finest games I've played on 3DS. I also sort of on Wii U. I never fully finished the Wii U game, I'm afraid. But I'm looking forward to now going back to that, and now later in the year playing Mutant Mudds Super Challenge, which just looks insanely fun to me. So they also talked about Octodad, which that game came out on PS4, and I really like that, so I'm gonna play it again probably on my Wii U, because local multiplayer for every tentacle is amazing.
Right.
And the other thing is Don't Starve Giant Edition, which apparently you can give a second version to another player.
Yeah, that was another surprising thing in addition to the Mutant Mud stuff.
Yeah, I honestly think it's really great because Don't Starve is really inventory heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So having it all on the gamepad, I think that is a really good deal.
Yeah.
And for the rest, they just showed a trailer. There was more footage of Star Wars, which I played the PC build of, and that's still one of the most amazing local multiplayer games I played in some while. There was Antipole Deluxe, which is also coming really soon, I think.
Yeah.
So there was a really bunch of good stuff in there. Like, honestly, I can't wait for it. There was also the one thing that surprised me that I never heard of was a title called The Bridge. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that before the Direct either, really.
Yeah, I saw it in the trailer. It was this really Asher sort of vibe to it, which I really like. But I will try to explore that game more as I have time. But it does look really, really insanely cool to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The final thing I want to mention, it's just totally not related to anything related to Europe and North America. Rhythm Heaven and Fire Emblem are both coming in June in Japan.
Yeah, that's crazy. Japan is lucky.
Yeah. And I hate them too because... So I'm going also on a holiday during E3. And if people know me well enough, they know that my two favorite games in the world are Rhythm Heaven and Fire Emblem. So Rhythm Heaven comes out June 11, and that's one day after I leave to America. And then Fire Emblem comes out on the day I go back to Europe.
That's funny.
So that really sort of sucks. So I have to go to a Starbucks on the first day in America just to download Rhythm Heaven.
It'll be worth it, though.
That will be worth it, though. But yeah, I might have to wait on Fire Emblem and just get the special package.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks until the end of June because there's a whole bunch of good stuff there.
Yeah, definitely. There was seriously a lot in this direct. Just talking about it now just made me realize how much stuff there was, really.
Yeah, it was a way better direct than I actually expected it to be.
Yeah, I feel like if people kept their expectations in check properly, then you can't really be too disappointed because there really was like something for everyone, I feel, between the Mario Kart 8 stuff, the Smash Brothers news, Virtual Console finally, N64 games, and DS.
I know for a fact that some people were really annoyed at this direct as well. And while I get that, I honestly feel that this is one of the best directs I've ever had in a long time.
I kind of heard some like the same disappointment, not like, just from a few various people. I don't think it's speaking for everyone, obviously, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
And we have E3 coming in June, which is just a couple months away, and we're going to get a ton of news there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, I think this just about wraps up this Just a Chat. Dan, thank you once again so much for joining me. And you want to tell people where they could follow you on Twitter?
Sure, you can follow me at Nintendan, which is NANTNDAAN. I mostly post about video games and sometimes a little bit of sports on the side, but mostly video games.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't like video games, right, guys? Right, yeah, sure.
So yeah, I think we will sign off now, but we're going to be putting up a new Let's Talk topic later tonight, and by the time you hear this, it will already be up, so head on over to Nintendo Everything, share with us your thoughts about what you thought, and you could post directly on the site on any page, really, or even on the YouTube comments. So until next time, guys, we will talk to you later.
I'm gonna go complain on the internet now. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. 壊したい大事そうに抱えた私を全部君がこの孤独を痛みを癒すの消えてしまいたい眠らない街のざわめき愛想笑いの憂鬱本音なんていつかどこか